Welcome back to Evolution.
Unscripted. Today we're going to be talking about dun, 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 dun,
Conflict and resolution with family or friends, spouses.
spouses.
We've all had conflict, and how did we resolve it? Um, did it end that friendship? Did it cause like a year long no communication streak, or did that relationship end? Let's start off with family.
For me, I would say family. I have a very strong bond with my siblings and my parents and my children. My children are all, a lot older. They're already like in their 20s. My baby's 18. So we all get to kind of sit at the same table with certain conversations now, which is pretty cool. But a lot of the times we agree to disagree on certain topics, certain things. And we'll talk it out like, no, I didn't say that, or yes, or no, or this is a better idea, or this. But we never take it personal because we
Yeah.
know the ultimate goal is to succeed as a whole unit. Our parents are always instilled in us that nobody's left behind kind of mentality. Like we all have enough to help each other out. And so I'll go, you know, I'll do anything for my siblings, for my children, for my parents. And the same way it's reciprocated with them, with me and my kids. And so we will talk, and sometimes it doesn't get heated. Nobody disrespects each other, but we do get kind of like passionate about the topic that we want to do or the point we want to get across. But we can be talking and everybody's like throwing in their 2 cents, and then after we're done, we're like, okay, what's for lunch? Where are we going?
Yeah.
Nobody takes it personal. We all know we all want to help each other be better and succeed. So I think that's the beauty of it. And it's sad to see that sometimes out there, not everybody has that. And me growing up, when somebody would tell me, oh, I haven't talked to my mom for 5 years, or my dad, or I don't get along with my brother or my sister, I couldn't believe it. I'd be like, huh? Like, how does somebody do that? Because in my world, like, we were such a close, we were then, but we are now such a close unit that I just thought that's how everybody was. But as life happens and you see how like others, don't have that, and I feel that I'm so blessed to have that. And for the ones that don't have that, it's very unfortunate, and they don't get to experience that. But we all have different lives, different paths, and different reasons why that happened. But to me, I always say that with family, it's like we can always have a little conflict or a little disagreement, but we're able to talk about it and move forward. And same thing kind of with you. I think we've always like talked about it. Like we've never had arguments like that. We've had one situation, but I think we were.
No, I think we had two
situations. Oh, I couldn't remember the one big one. Where we just like afterwards, I remember you even sent me flowers. Oh, you didn't have to, friend.
I know.
But and it was like we've never had that happen,
Yeah.
And so, but we later on we talked about it, moved forward, and then oh yeah, we did have two, and we talked about it for our anniversary. And so, and a lot of the times I think it's perception and perspective. So we put ourselves in the other person's shoe to see, okay, where they're coming from. And it goes both ways. I think we do that really well with our relationship, where we care, like, okay, where is she coming from? What is she saying? And we know that ultimately, how we always say, your wins are my wins are your wins, that we already know that. Like, okay, what are we trying to get out of here? We hold ourselves accountable. We're real to each other. Kind of when I come to you for relationship advice, you kind of ask like, what is your ultimate goal from this? What are you trying to get? And same thing with me. Like, I'm never just on your side, I'm on the factual side. So I'm like, okay, what was the situation? All right, friend, this was you were actually, you're bad in this situation. Like, we're not afraid to call each other out, because that's only going to help us become better. And I think that's
and at
true.
the end, I think we really only want each other's happiness.
Yeah.
So it's like, I'm gonna be with you regardless on what you decide, but let me know what you want, so that way I can,
I guess the
and
beauty
especially
in
when
it.
you're upset. Yeah, for sure. And the funny thing is, like, I always thought, because I've had conflict with other friends that I was able to move forward from, that I thought, like, that's pretty badass. Like, I'm able to have, like,
Grown up conversations.
yes, or discussions, or literally arguments, and move forward from it because we cared enough to. And then for us, I think our friendship went a very long time without any of that. And then it happened, and then I feel like it was same. Like, once we got over it, like, it didn't change, where
It didn't tarnish our friendship.
right, no. And
I
I
think
think
made us
like
stronger.
the honesty, yeah, because I've always felt like if you don't have that, like how strong is your friendship? Because you
Mm-hmm.
haven't encountered that.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I had encountered that in other friendships, I felt like, oh, okay, it's stronger than I thought,
Mm-hmm.
maybe, because like
Overcame
it
it.
takes two, and a lot of times people don't like to talk about it.
Uh-uh.
People don't want to have like that conversation because it's
They
uncomfortable,
avoid it.
which it may be uncomfortable, but like if you care, I'm the type of person, I don't like things lingering,
Uh-huh.
because if you let it linger, not only is my feelings start detaching immediately,
Mm-hmm.
pretty quickly.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, okay, it's
You're like,
done.
okay, cool.
It's done. Like, and so I think that's why it's so important to talk about it very early on,
Really good.
especially if you care.
Mm-hmm.
Because also, like, if whether it's me lingering in my thoughts or you, and again, the perception can be so different.
We start assuming and just
Exactly.
thinking.
And so yeah, for sure that's important. And um I mean, I'm very grateful that, yeah, we were able to like get past it and stuff like that. And really just with like a conversation,
Yeah.
but
And they weren't like,
and also it was never on purpose. Like,
yeah.
I don't we never like purposely try to like upset each other or
Mm-mm.
like hurt each other, which makes a difference. The
Mm-hmm.
intent,
The intent, yes.
I think is definitely something that makes a
I
difference.
think it was more disagreements and arguments, and we were having like mimosas, and like so our emotions were even
Right.
heightened, and
That's why I
so
don't drink.
don't drink.
Mm-hmm.
No, but and we've never had problems like that. Like
No.
we've always been able. We're not even big drinkers, and I
Yeah,
think that's
yeah.
why we're like like when we
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But yeah, and it was something like so dumb, and nothing that where we did something to each other. It was just a situation that we
And
were
more
part
to
of.
have to do with my man, because I get very like,
Uh-huh.
So it actually kind of started with that on the
Uh-huh.
first
On
one.
the first one.
Uh-huh. And then actually I was talking about that with my other friend, and I was like, I I could have handled it different. We could have just walked to go get the girls' shoes, but I was like, we're not going.
And then I was like, why? What's the big deal?
Yes, exactly.
And then you were mad. And so then I was like, why is my friend mad? Like, it's not a big situation, deal or situation. So then then you kind of snapped at me. And then I was upset because why did she snap at me? It's not a big deal. Like, nothing happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh-huh.
And like now, like I was telling my other friend, looking back, I'm like, she was really just caught in the middle, because she is the one that had invited her other friend, and like her other friend was nice, like
And nothing to do. Everybody as a group was walking.
Yeah, but I was like, I don't want to, because I had heels on and I didn't have extra pairs of shoes, so why? But I was also a little bratty before, I think.
Well, that day you were
where
being
I
bratty.
got like, yeah, for sure, for sure. And like, I guess recently looking back, I've seen a lot of things that I could have done different, even like with my husband, where I'm like, I blamed him and I'm like, nope, I was right, and it was like, I probably could have helped like de-escalate it if I acted or reacted differently or said things differently. And I was very like, no, because his wrong was bigger than mine, but that doesn't mean that mine was still right. And I feel like,
but because this was a bigger wrong, you're like, we're sticking to that.
I felt exactly. And then so when we were talking, I was talking about that situation, and I was like, really, like, my friend was just like,
I was trying to
like
calm
in the
everything
middle,
down,
because
like,
they're
why?
her friends. But I mean, that was that's your friend, but I'm your friend, so I know like you were just like, wait, what, And yes, for sure, I was being bratty, and especially like with my husband and stuff. But yeah, that was completely unnecessary for sure.
But it's good how you were able to look back and be like, okay, I was something I could have done differently. And now going forward, like, it's all a learning. It's all a learning. We're put in these situations to grow our emotional intelligence, I guess you can say, so that we handle those situations. But if we're not put in those situations, how are we going to learn how to handle them? I'm not excusing certain things, but I'm saying that we do go through life in certain situations to help us grow, because at the level you are now, you wouldn't act like that,
right. And I think because I've talked to you about this before, about like misinterpreting like passion and stuff like that in marriage. Okay, well, aside from that, I feel like being bratty, because I do feel like early on in my relationship I was very bratty, but I felt like, well, that's the way I am, like I'm bratty, like and it's like,
a
ew,
princess.
like you're a grown woman, like that. There's nothing cute about being bratty, or like there's no, and I've changed so much in that aspect. And my husband's so sweet that I'm like, maybe I could have gotten that out of him acting different before, but it was more like he kind of had to, maybe to avoid an issue, not so much because it came so natural
He
to
had to
him.
grow up really fast.
And so I feel like now I'm like, okay, there was times that I didn't need to be that way, you know.
You were trying to prove a point.
I don't know. Sometimes it was just unnecessary overall, and it was like, what were you trying to prove to who? Because in reality, like,
it was just you and your husband.
Exactly. Yeah. So, yeah, I would have handled that differently. We would have walked together, or I could have been like, "It's cool, you guys go." You know what? It was because my man was like, "Well, they're all going, so let's go." So then I was like, "Is that your friend? That's not your friend. That's not my friend. That's her friend." And so then that's kind of how it started, because like, why?
Yeah.
You know. My bad, girl. Thank you for being so nice.
Sweetheart. But overall, it was a good time. We did have a good time.
It was.
After that, I guess I was like, like, ugh, like in my little mood. I even had my sunglasses. Didn't want to talk to nobody. And I was just hurt. I remember crying.
Yeah. So that's why I sent you flowers. Because I was like then even me, I was like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Like, but then when I was like, okay, she like literally cried. Like, then I was like, okay, like to her, it was a bigger deal than to me. Because I mean, I was pissed, but I was not like, I'm not going to talk to you or like anything. But then I felt like again, to everyone, something maybe mean more,
our own perception,
right? So I can't like invalidate that
or take away from the other person's feelings.
Exactly. So I was like, okay, like let me send her flowers and stuff. Like I do care about our friendship, and maybe the way I acted, she could have felt like, okay, she really just doesn't care, you know. But yeah, because that day you even wanted to leave. Yeah. And then well, my man did too. I'm like, so
and then my man was like, no, hold on, wait, you guys can't be like that. Like, he was sweet that day because he was trying to like, calm down, it's okay, you guys have to talk. Like, no, I want to go. He's like, no, we're gonna wait.
Yeah.
And trying to push for us to like talk, but I was just sitting there like, I'm not talking.
Yeah. Even your friend like was trying to talk to both of us. Like, you know,
how awkward for
I know
for people.
Yeah, exactly.
Please don't do that.
And that day
we met another friends. Yeah, the girl, she was all fun and vibes.
That's who I went to the Christian thing with.
Oh, yes. We always meet people.
She helped me be a better person. She helped me get closer to God. So yes. But yeah, that was definitely well, that was our first time ever having like an issue type thing.
But see, again, we got to go through tests to really test
and see like how you get through it, how you navigate that issue,
how we're gonna really get through it. And we always have like, oh no, I don't agree with that, or no, it's like that, or no, I don't like that, but it's never like arguments.
We're so different. Like we don't like a lot of the same stuff.
No,
like a lot.
Even music, food, so different, but we go so well together.
Yeah. But well, like I've said before, like you and my husband have a lot of like things that I'm like, what?
That's like, who'd you meet first? Me.
Yeah.
So you felt you looked for
I was like I need a man like her. Yeah, because then when he'll say, but I don't really tell my husband, I'll tell her. Like I'm like, oh, my friend likes that, I'm gonna tell her. But that's funny. Yeah. So if your friends are worth it, your family, make sure that you take the time to talk, and with an open mind, because that's how my family is too. My mom's always like, this is all you got. Like, you don't ever stop talking. You don't this. And to your point about earlier, how you said, like, it's so unfortunate for people that don't have that. My parents did not have that. But they decided that because they didn't have that, they were going to build that. And they really did with us. And we are so close, and I'm so lucky, and I feel blessed. You guys are a beautiful family. Yes. Thank you. Yours too. And I think like that's we were talking about that last time. We don't really go to each other's house because we are very close to our families. So we do things with our own families, like on the weekends and stuff like that. But it's so nice, and it's such a blessing. And like for me to have that, knowing that my parents didn't, they could have very well just raised us the way they were raised,
continued the chain.
Exactly. And it was so important to them that even like I feel like usually boys tend to lean more towards like the wives or their families and stuff like that, And my brothers are very, very fair and
Mhm.
make the time for my parents, make the time to get together for holidays or for
Mhm.
whatever it is. And even when it's not holidays, to stop to check in on my mom, to call her. Like they have a
Mhm.
really good relationship with her, and so do their wives, which is very nice. Obviously, I
Mhm.
like that. They text my mom. They want to see
Mhm.
how she's doing. They want to hang out with the family. So I think it is so beautiful. But whatever
But
you
because your
don't
mom is
have,
also so warm and welcoming,
mhm,
that she's created that bond with them.
yeah, yeah,
Makes them
she's
warm.
definitely a mother-in-law that I would like to have.
Heck yes. She is
But
the mother-in-law we'd all want.
yes, yes. But yeah, and I think like move forward in a positive way, regardless
Mhm.
if you guys agree or don't agree
Mhm.
on something 100%. I don't think you'll ever really find anyone in this world that you agree with
With
100%.
100%.
But, move forward, have that open mind to
Mhm.
understand, and don't I don't even know what the word is, but like how I was saying, like don't invalidate other people's feelings
Mhm.
or their perception, because something may mean more to one than the other,
Yeah.
and so it could be more impactful to one
Mhm.
than the other. Where like
Mhm.
earlier I was saying, to me I was like, okay, like
It's
we
not a
had
big
a
deal.
funk, like let's get on with it.
Uh-huh.
And versus to you, and
Mhm.
so making sure that you, if you care, then you're going to
Yeah.
try to understand
Mhm.
and be more
Open.
yeah, more open-minded or
Mhm.
apologetic, or
Mhm. Just
really.
think, is it really worth losing this relationship or friendship
Mhm.
with this person over something that can be resolved through talking? And we talked about sometimes it could be uncomfortable or you want to avoid the conversation, but just think how much stronger and solid you'll become after getting through that. And really, if it is meant to be a long-term relationship. And don't forget that if you don't come from that, you don't have that, just like we say, hey, if you don't want me to sit at your table, I can make my own table.
Mhm.
You can make your own table with your own views, your own ways that you want to raise yourself, that you want to grow, or you want to raise your family the way that you wish or want to. So
Mhm.
that's not like a issue. Like
Yeah.
we're making our own tables
Yes,
everywhere.
exactly.
Hmm.
Exactly. And that's the beauty of life, and the
Hmm.
guidance that we get from God is like, when you want something, you can make it happen for yourself too. Yeah.
Hmm.
You don't have to rely on others, and sometimes it may feel a little lonely, but you will get to that point where you build what you were wanting
Hmm.
or working so hard for.
Hmm. Hmm. If this resonated with you and you want to share your stories, please let us know. We would love to hear from you. And again, thank you for joining us today. Cheers.
Cheers.